was a two-parent household up until I was 5. Um,
Okay.
we, up until I was 5, we really didn't want for nothing. My mom and dad had wonderful jobs. I just remember having, my mom and dad owned a home. We had a pretty good life, but until they split up. So when they split up is when we went into poverty,
Mm.
extreme poverty. And so my mom became a single mom instantly, of course, with 4 children. And but she worked very hard to take care of us. So we did have to. I mean, now I'm gonna give my mama her hand clap, because even though we were going through, we never missed a meal. Like she cooked every single day. So, and we had a process: get home, do your chores. She was cooking, house was clean. It was a routine. Siblings, of course, we fought. I was the baby. I am the baby. And my oldest, well, 9 years apart. So, but we all got along. My mama raised us to, there's no enemy in the camp. So we're very tight knit as far as sticking there for one another. There was no rivalries of, one sibling hating another. We, to this day, we all get along. There is no destruction. There's no strife between siblings. We all get along, and that's how she
Okay.
raised us. So yeah, childhood. I do remember having some great childhood with, even though we were in poverty, you know, my aunt was in poverty too. So that means my cousins was in poverty. But even though we was in poverty, we still had joy. We still had love. We shared things, because they lived right beside us. And so
Right.
we great childhood memories. I can never, knock any of that. Great childhood memories, made mud pies, played house in the barns. And then, once we moved away from my aunt, we wasn't near the cousins as much. I became a little bit of a loner because, like I said, it's just some distant time between my oldest sister and then my middle child. My middle sister was more a loner. She stayed to herself. She read books and stuff like that. She really wasn't outgoing. So I stayed outside all the time. And that's where my creative juice came. And a lot of times and how I knew I was a writer, well, I didn't know at the time, but I would talk to myself, but I would do each character for myself.
Oh, okay.
I just wasn't writing it down. And so my mom sometimes she would catch me and she said, "Kay, please stop talking to yourself." But she didn't know what I was
What you
doing.
was doing at the time? Yeah.
And if I had known to say, "Oh, mom, give me a notebook," I would have, put it all together. And I didn't. But I had been doing it for years, even when I was little.
Oh,
I was
wow.
always outgoing. My siblings always said I was hard headed. I don't think I was, but I was
Of
always
course not.
no, of course not. I was just always doing something. You're always, curious. And so they will always make sure they say, "Okay, you so hard headed,"
So let
you
me
know.
ask you. I'm glad that you were able to share those things because I'm so glad to hear, and it's refreshing that you had a decent childhood coming up because it's not, there's a lot of people that come from the other side of the mountain. They don't share those sentiments. So I'm glad that you are able to attest to the fact that there is a possibility that you can grow up, and regardless to what poverty level that you're on, whether you're working class, whatever, that you can still have
Yes,
that family structure that doesn't have to deter you from having a decent childhood and you can
exactly.
experience certain things. But so let me can you tell me at that time we still talking about childhood, like can you give us a little bit of some realistic factors you have to face? I know you dealt with divorced parents, so can you get more into that and some of the other realistic stuff that you had to deal with at the time that you can remember?
Like, well, I do remember moving around a lot, changing schools. I did not like that. And
Yeah, yeah.
because I had to be, the uprooted and not stability. But my mom was just trying to make sure she gets us to a place that she could afford as a single mom. So I think one of the things that I didn't really like was us moving around, even though we were still in South Boston, Virginia, Alton, Virginia, whatever. It's still different schools that you could go to, and so we would move around. As we moved around, we moved schools. Um, just not having different things that other kids had. We had to share clothing.
Okay. Hand me
Have
down. Mm-hmm.
we didn't have. I remember not going to school with no new school clothes. So we just had to share each other things, and we knew it was poverty, but we didn't let it crush us to the point where we couldn't get up out of it. My mama
Okay.
wouldn't allow that. So
Right.
She it's a lot of stuff I could go deep, but I want to save it
Right.
for the book. But she there's a lot of things Mama made let us have fun with the things we did not have the others had. Okay. So if you had an in-ground pool, she might have just sprayed us with a water hose. It
Mm,
was just little things like that that we appreciate today that my mama still wanted us to have fun, even though we didn't have those things that other kids had. The kids that would come to school after a good Christmas and say, oh, I got this, that, and the third. Okay, I couldn't raise my hand. I didn't get that. So it's like,
mhm.
but at that time, I was like, okay, I know why I couldn't get it because my mama could not afford it and I didn't beat her up for it. It wasn't like I would come home and get mad because she couldn't do it. I knew why
Right.
I couldn't get it. So that's why it made us mature early. You know,
Mhm.
mature. All us, the whole, all siblings, all of my siblings are wise because we had to mature early. So some of those things that the poverty, the intense poverty that we went through, I don't shun anything. It made me the woman that I am today. So I'm okay with that. That moving around, the instability probably was the only one that got me because of me trying to build friendships and then be torn away because we got to move.
Yeah.
That was the only thing that really got to me. Other than that, we kind of
And I'm
dealt with.
glad you wow, so that's good that you was able to have that humble perspective at a young age. So I think that's impressionable because most kids, they are going to make those comparisons and they end up resenting their parents like, oh, how come I can't get this new thing? How come I can't get that? And now let me ask you this, and I'm glad that you was saying that you had the ability to understand what the circumstances were when it came to not having access to certain things. So did that affect your social environment in school as far as you being teased or anything like that? Yeah.
Yeah, of course I got teased. I got teased all the time. I
Mhm.
got teased all the way. The last time I got teased was in the middle school.
Mm.
After that, when I got to the high school, I had a job in the ninth grade. I was not playing. And I started buying my own stuff. But yeah, girls who thought they were supposed to be my friends, they was picking on me. I had the Reebok. I'm gonna tell you, I had some Reebok classics, right? Remember they was real hot one time.
Yeah, 5411s?
Uh-huh. And
Yeah.
so I had some white shoe polish because my mama could not afford to buy me a new pair. So I had to
Right,
my
right.
white shoe polish. Oh,
Yeah,
they never let me live that down. They picked at me so bad. And I ain't forgot that. I ain't forgot the girl that did it. They really, really talked about me really bad. That
mm,
and I went home crying because I was like, and I understood my mama could not afford it. And it was just what it is. And this particular girl, she could afford it because her mama had probably a nice job you know, and my mom didn't. So they didn't understand. And that's why I don't play that bullying stuff. I told my kids
no,
straight up,
no,
I don't play
mm-mm.
because your mama was picked on. So we're not gonna do that. So I'm very strict about the bullying because
Yeah, yes, thank you. Please.
and so
Yeah,
when I found out my son was bullying a child, I went up to that school. I did not take his side. I went up to
right.
that school so fast. I know you lying. We talked about this. You never
Yes,
did it again. So but yeah, I was bullied because I didn't have, not because I smelled or I was dirty. My mama made sure we were clean. It was just that we didn't
right,
have what they had, you know. So
right.
that was some of the things I remember as growing up. We definitely was bullied. That I was even
Yeah.
bullied for my book bag. How can you get bullied for
Wow.
a book bag?
Yeah, yeah.
Because it was like the plastic book bags. My mom, you remember back in the day, it was like not plastic. I guess they were plastic, and they kept breaking. The straps kept breaking.
Right, right.
So they were picking me about that. So
Mhm. Anything they could target you for, they will. Yes,
yeah,
unfortunately.
we went through. I went through that. Yes, I did.
Yeah, so that's unfortunate, but I'm glad that you have a handle on it, especially now as a parent. Because like I said, I can't stand bullying either,
Yeah,
and it's something that we got to stop normalizing it and thinking this is
yeah.
some kind of rite of passage or it's part of growing up. No, don't let it be. Why
No,
let it be a part of growing up? You don't have to let it be a part of growing up, and
no.
that's very dismissive. A lot of parents and and loved ones do that a lot. So
Yeah,
please stop doing that. You
yeah,
know.
absolutely.
Yeah, so Delinda, so now that we still on, on that childhood thing, I like to go into the elementary, junior high school phase of it all, as I like to talk about that too, because a lot of times they don't realize how much self-discovery comes into elementary, junior high school, whether it's puberty, acne, you're trying to develop more of your social skills, you're getting adapted to your environment, you're not home as much. You're humping in the staircase and you're dealing with other things. You're going into more groups. You'll be maybe you might have some sports or clubs that you're participating in, trying to, keep up with your academics. So give me your experience with elementary and junior high school.
let me point this out before I go into this. My mom has always been strict.
Oh,
Okay,
really?
honey, we would be terrified of her feet hitting the ground. Who's she coming to see? I mean, my mama didn't play, and you gonna get whooped if you do something stupid. Period. She don't have time for that.
Mhm.
She used to always say, "Okay, when y'all leave out of here, out of this house, you represent me. So
Yep.
don't be going
Yeah.
out there acting stupid
Don't be
because
showing you. Mhm.
you know
Go show out.
don't show out." My mama didn't play that.
Mhm.
So if she
Mhm.
calls to the school, you gonna get a whooping. So I said all that to say, well, first of all, when I was in elementary, I was more like a tomboy. My mama just knew I was gonna be a lesbian. She was like, girl, you better. She was so scared, and I was such a tomboy. And so then when I started getting, when I was leaving elementary, when I went into the middle school is when I found my femininity. And honey, you couldn't tell me not to wear on some tight jeans. I wanted to,
Oh,
my
oh.
because I had a shape. And so I was like, and she was like, "You're not wearing that." She didn't want me to wear that, but I was determined to, because I
To
was,
get out your shell and
yeah,
blossom a little bit.
because I was used to being this. You better not touch me. I'm gonna beat you. I was used to being this stud type, And then I came into this feminine, and you could not tell me nothing. All the baggy jeans went out the window. The baggy shirts went out the window, and I embraced my body.
Yes.
And the boys noticed immediately in middle
Oh, so
school.
that's where you was hopping in the staircase.
No, well, I did do some stuff in the staircase, but look, my mom don't know about that. But she do. I remember my mama was on me real bad, and I'm gonna tell you just one story. She probably remember, but one of the stories is she had no, back then there was no cell phones, so she would look in the book bag. We used to write notes, letters,
Mhm.
and I had this. I called myself having this boyfriend. This middle school. It was seventh grade, and so she said all of a sudden she was like, "Let me check your book bag." I was like, "Okay." And she found a letter I had just wrote to my so-called boyfriend, and the stuff I was gonna do to him,
Oh.
she tore my behind.
Oh. Damn,
She
what did you say in that letter? Now I want to know what the heck you say in that letter.
it was something I ain't had it was something I ain't had no being knowing about
Oh.
sexually. He couldn't wait too. I told him about it.
Oh, he read it. Oh, you ain't get to. Oh.
He knew about it. He
Oh.
knew about it because I already told him. We had already talked about it on the phone. My mama didn't hear that part, but then I wrote about it. And so she found the note. Well, she found a letter to him in the book bag. She read it. Child, she read it out loud in front of my other siblings.
Oh
She told
no. Oh
she
my
told
God. Why would she do you? Why she embarrass you like that?
because she set the example. What you mean?
Yeah.
She
She was
said,
like, okay, see, that's what you're not going to do.
yeah, so she would mind her, but she tore me up. I never forget it. I never did it again. I was I ain't gonna say I did. I was very careful.
Right, right.
Book
So you
bag.
started, yeah, you had to be more sneaky. You had to be more freaky, sneaky with your freaky.
But after that particular guy, I didn't talk to no more because he was just weird. And then so in a yeah, he was just weird. So after that, there was another guy that I started liking. That was in the 8th grade. But um I ended up marrying him. That's crazy.
What? Oh, okay. We got to get into that later on. Okay, thank you for that. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So did you join any like were you more reserved? Were you a popular kid in junior high? Like how were your grades? What did you play any sports? Were you a cheerleader? Like what are some of
Yeah.
the
I didn't want to
yeah?
do any of that. I was the cool
You said
girl.
you were a tomboy at that.
I was a tomboy. But not no more. Not when I got to
Oh,
the
at
middle
that
school.
time you blossomed. Yeah, yeah.
I was doing fashion. I wanted to be cute. I was,
Yes, yes.
so I didn't want to do any sports or anything like that. I think I tried out for like pom pom team or something, but that was just to stay after class. I wasn't serious. But in the middle school, my grades was decent. They weren't like straight A's because I still was into boys. That's all I cared about. I was popular because of the way I look, and
Of course.
and how cool I was. Because I didn't really have. I was making friends. I was friends with guys and girls. So I really didn't have people that really hated on me unless you were just a hater. But I got along with everybody. So it was like, Delinda's just cool. Kind of like that. So I was the cool girl. So I didn't really do anything, no sports or anything like that. I
Yeah,
just
you
I was just a social butterfly to
yes.
everyone. To everyone.
Yes.
To
Okay.
too. All my teachers. So
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
that was me in the middle school.
All right. So you was like very extroverted.
Yeah.
Okay. So now let me ask you how did some of the self-discovery, well, actually before I get into, the high school of it all, do you remember the level of your self-discovery at that time, between elementary, junior high school? What did you discover about yourself?
That I wanted. Well, I knew from an early age that I wanted to be on TV. Now that I
Oh,
knew.
you did.
Oh
Okay.
God, yeah. I knew when I was a little girl. I remember when I was little. We were probably this was probably elementary when I looked at my brother. My brother was a big tease, even though he loved me. He got on my nerves, and I used to write songs and sing it to him, and he would just be like, "Boo, don't sing
Oh,
this."
wow.
But he
Oh
didn't
my.
really mean it. Like, he was just loving to tease on me and stuff. Because the reason why I was a tomboy is because he used to wrestle with me because he was the only boy.
Mm.
I had to wrestle with him because I was, the baby, and he was like, "Yeah, let me do this
But that
figure."
comes in handy, and because you have to defend yourself at some point.
Yeah, that's why my mama thought I was gonna be a stud because she was like, "You
Oh,
need to." I was running. No joke. I would run around. This before I had boobs. I would run around with no shirt on. I was flat chested, and she was like, "Hey, put your shirt on. What are you doing?" And
right.
but I thought I was, what I'm saying? I was with the boys. I was fighting, like I'm fighting. So it's like, I didn't pay no attention to her, and so I was fighting with my brother. But anyway, I was singing songs and stuff, and I'd be telling him, "Oh, school, I'm gonna be on TV one day." He'd be like, "Hey, you'll be on TV." I mean, this is something he would say.
Such
But I
a
knew
hater, just a hater.
he was a hater. He's a rage.
Yeah.
He's definitely a rage baiter. But now he supports everything I do, every single thing I do.
He better.
He's a mess. And
Yeah.
but he used to laugh at me when I used to do that. I used to be like, I'm gonna be on TV one day, boy. He
Who were
like,
some of your inspirations? What made you? What drove you to that point?
I'm gonna tell you what it is. This is crazy, but my aunt Barbara, the one I used to live beside, when I was talking about my aunt and all the cousins, we used to live beside this one aunt, and she used to watch soap operas daily.
Okay.
I used
Okay.
to be in there, I used to sit on the floor and look. But what fascinated me, and even though, like I said, I was like a tomboy, looking at Erica Kane on All My Children
Yes.
and seeing how
Yes.
beautiful she was and
Hmm.
how she used to act and how the lights and stuff used to raise and the music go up and down. It just fascinated me, and I never
Wow.
had to be a part of it. And then what used to blow me was her earrings was always gold and sparkly for some reason, and I'd be like, "Dang, I want them earrings." Oh wow.
Wow.
I just used to look at her and be like, I want to be on TV, period. And so my mom is a very, she's girly girl. My mom is girly girl. So I used to play in her makeup. I stayed in her,
Yeah. She was
stayed.
prissy. She was prissy.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
I tell people all the time when I tell people this, they think it's crazy. My mom, I'm 42. My mom, I've never seen her nails. I've never seen her bare nails. I've only seen polish. And I'm 40
Okay.
years old. I have hold on one second. Tyreek, I'm on a Zoom call. Okay. Yeah, she's prissy. And so, but yeah, that's where that comes from. And all of her daughters are the same. We all the same because it comes from her.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, so that's where that inspiration came from watching soap operas. That's where it all started.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, now you said that, like, so it seemed like to me, like, you watching the soap operas, you was fascinated with Erica Kane. Shout out to Susie Lucci. She's still alive to this day and still looking good,
I
still
know.
beautiful.
I love her.
Yeah. And so now when you because I know you said back during childhood that you used to have, these voices, these characters in your head. So now and you started trying to make your brother the audience and he was hating on you. So at that time when you was watching the show, you was
Yeah.
watching the soap saying you starting to, you're trying to develop these things and you're trying to, cause you're trying to figure out, okay, like what to do with this. Did you know at that time, okay, what can I have this talent, but do I know what it is? Do I know what to do with it at that time, or did it take some time for you to really figure it out?
It took a long time for me to figure
Yeah.
out
Okay.
that I had it in me. When I went to high school, um, I wrote like this murder mystery, and I can't even remember how I went. I just
Oh.
remember writing it on. That was the first thing I actually wrote, and I actually wrote it on a notebook, and it got around the school, and I never got it back. But they wanted to
Hmm.
what would happen next, and nobody would tell me where. To this day, I don't know what happened to it. But it was like, I would write something different and I would pass it around. Then it would finally get back to me. Whoever got it last, they never gave it back. So I don't know
Well,
where
no, I wonder if they stole it and made it their own and making millions of it. You never know. You
we
never
just
know.
yeah, it was a murder mystery about friends, who we don't know who among the friends killed this particular person. It was kind of like that. And so I do remember that part of it. And I never got it back.
Hmm.
And they
So,
really upset me.
Delinda. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
But I wish today I could get it back in my hands because
Yeah, you better. Okay, we gotta find out who that person is. You know, like where's Delinda's story? Where is it?